In this demo, we will show you how to use a table to display a list of orders. In Service Studio, we already have the module opened with the orders screen created. The screen already has an aggregate created that fetches all the orders sorted by priority. Let's start by adding a table widget to the screen. We can easily do that by finding the table in the toolbar on the left and dragging it to the main content area of the screen. This action adds an empty table widget to the screen and creates an error, since the data source is not yet bound to the widget. Every table widget needs to have a data source with the data that we want to display on the screen. Let's set the source to be the list result of the aggregate. Now that we set the source of data, we need to define in which order data will be displayed. As the table indicates, we need to drag some data to the table to define what will appear on the screen. Let's expand the aggregate on the right and drag the order entity to the table. As we can see, 4 columns were automatically created with the description, due date, created on and shipped on. By default, only 4 attributes were chosen, but we can add more or delete some columns that were added automatically. When we select a column, a new menu appears on the top. This menu allows us to move columns left or right, add columns to the left or to the right, and/or to delete a column. Let's delete this column and then the shipped on column. To easily add new columns, we can drag attributes to the table, for instance the priority. Let's add 2 new columns, one for the status of the order and one for the reviewer. To finish, let's adjust the due date layout by aligning the column title to the left and deleting the container enclosing the expression. We're done, so let's publish the module. Before seeing it in the browser, it is important to know that OutSystems widgets are responsive. This means that depending on the device's screen size, widgets will behave a little bit differently. Here's the table with all the orders data as it would be seen in a tablet, with the columns we defined. Going back to Service Studio, let's delete the table we just created. If we drag the aggregate directly to the screen, the table is automatically created, with 4 attributes. Other features are automatically created, such as pagination and sorting. This speeds up the UI development of our application. Also, we can change everything that we generated if we want to.